In the 1970s, animation took a bold turn, as filmmakers began using the medium to explore themes far beyond children's stories. These daring animated films challenged societal norms, tackled taboo subjects, and featured explicit content that shocked audiences. Some of these films were so controversial that they were outright banned in several countries. Whether it was pushing the boundaries of politics, race, or adult humor, these cartoons were more than just entertainment. They sparked debates, outraged censors, and forever changed the landscape of animated cinema. Let's uncover the 11 animated movies from the 1970s that were so provocative, they couldn't be shown to the public. Belladonna of Sadness, 1973. Belladonna of Sadness is a haunting Japanese animated film set in medieval France, following the tragic story of a peasant woman named Jeanne. After being attacked on her wedding night, Jeanne makes a pact with a spirit, embarking on a surreal journey of magical powers, sexual trauma, and revenge. The film's unique and abstract art style blends beautiful watercolor visuals with disturbing imagery, pushing the boundaries of adult animation. The film's provocative themes of suffering and empowerment led to mixed reactions, with many initially finding it too strange and upsetting. It became a cult favorite in later years, hailed for its bold artistry. Down and Dirty Duck, 1974. Down and Dirty Duck, also known as Dirty Duck, is an American adult animated film that pushed the boundaries of crude humor and animation. The film follows Willard, an insurance clerk, and a wisecracking duck on a surreal road trip filled with bizarre characters and inappropriate escapades. Featuring explicit content, drug-induced dream sequences, and absurd scenarios, the film received an X rating and stirred controversy. Critics condemned the film for its vulgarity, while others saw it as a bizarre, irreverent piece of animation. Despite its limited release and obscurity, it remains a notorious example of 1970s animation's wild, boundary-pushing nature. The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, 1974. The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat is the sequel to the controversial 1972 film Fritz the Cat. This black comedy follows Fritz, now a middle-aged cat, in the 1970s, as he daydreams through 9 wild adventures, each representing one of his 9 lives. The film continues the original's adult content, including political satire, social commentary, and risque humor. Although toned down compared to its predecessor, it still earned an R rating, causing controversy for its explicit material. Despite mixed reviews and a lack of cultural impact, it remains a footnote in adult animation history, struggling at the box office. Heavy Traffic, 1973. Ralph Bakshi's Heavy Traffic is a gritty animated film that blends dark humor with surreal city life. The movie follows Michael, a 22-year-old underground cartoonist navigating a chaotic New York City. The film delves into Michael's interactions with mobsters, his interracial romance, and raw depictions of urban poverty and violence. Featuring both animated fantasy and live-action scenes, Heavy Traffic is praised for its bold and unapologetic approach to mature themes. Despite being banned in some regions due to its explicit content, the film gained a cult following for its artistic daring and remains a landmark in adult animation. Kunkin, 1975. Kunkin is a controversial animated film that satirizes race relations in America through the story of 3 African-American characters, Brother Rabbit, Brother Bear, and Preacher Fox, rising in Harlem's criminal underworld. The film critiques racist stereotypes while parodying black exploitation films. However, its use of offensive imagery, and the title itself an explicit racial slur, led to widespread protests and backlash, particularly from the Congress of Racial Equality, CORE. After only a brief release, it was withdrawn and effectively banned for over a decade. Despite being polarizing, Kunkin has been re-evaluated over the years as a bold, albeit uncomfortable, commentary on race. Fritz the Cat, 1972. Fritz the Cat was a groundbreaking film in the world of animation, as it was the first animated film to be rated X. Directed by Ralph Bakshi, the movie is an edgy and adult-oriented comedy that follows the misadventures of Fritz, a college-age cat navigating the counterculture of 1960s New York City. The film addresses mature themes such as politics, drugs, and relationships in an explicit and controversial manner. The film shocked many with its raw content, as it was a comic-style cartoon containing adult humor, which was unheard of in mainstream animation at the time. Despite its controversial reception, it became a box office success, grossing over $90 million on a modest budget. Fritz the Cat challenged traditional animation, proving that the medium could tackle adult themes and appeal to a mature audience. Over time, the film has become a cult classic, paving the way for adult animation in mainstream cinema. Tarzan, Shame of the Jungle, 1975. Tarzan, Shame of the Jungle, also known as Jungle Burger, is an X-rated animated parody of the Tarzan character. Released in 1975, this French-Belgian film, directed by Picha, presents an absurd, comedic take on the classic Tarzan story. In this wild and outrageous film, Tarzan is portrayed as a bumbling, lanky jungle man who must save his girlfriend from Queen Bazonga, a bizarre villainess with some very peculiar features. The film is filled with crude humor and inappropriate gags, pushing the limits of what was deemed acceptable in animation at the time. The film faced major backlash for its explicit content, and countries like New Zealand outright banned it in 1976. Despite the controversy, it became popular in France, even outperforming The Godfather Part II in ticket sales at one point. The movie remains infamous as a scandalous and highly inappropriate spoof that challenged conventional animation norms. The Hand, Ruka, 1965. The Hand, Ruka, is a chilling 18-minute stop-motion animated short created by Czech puppeteer Jiří Trnka in 1965. The film tells the story of a cheerful clay puppet who is forced to sculpt a statue glorifying a giant gloved hand, a symbol of oppressive power. As the puppet resists, the hand becomes increasingly menacing, imprisoning the puppet and destroying his belongings. The film's dark allegory critiques authoritarianism and government oppression, with the hand symbolizing the oppressive regime. The Hand was banned in Czechoslovakia in 1970 for its subversive political message, and all copies of the film were seized. The government viewed it as a direct attack on communist rule. The film's hauntingly simple yet effective storytelling, using no spoken words, made it a striking example of the power of animation as political commentary. The Hand remained banned for nearly 2 decades, gaining legendary status as a suppressed masterpiece when it resurfaced in 1989. Watership Down, 1978. Watership Down is a British animated film based on Richard Adams's novel, known for its deceptively gentle appearance but dark, mature themes. The film follows a group of rabbits as they escape their warren in search of a new home, facing predators, hunters, and other dangers along the way. The film is notable for its raw depictions of violence and death, showing rabbits getting injured or killed in brutal ways. The scenes of bloodshed and the film's exploration of themes like survival, death, and spiritual elements shocked many viewers, especially parents who had expected a children's movie. Initially rated U in the UK, which deemed it suitable for all ages, it quickly became controversial as parents complained about the graphic violence. The film's violence was so upsetting that it led to widespread public outcry, and many parents deemed it inappropriate for young audiences. Despite this, Watership Down has since become a cult classic, revered for its serious treatment of the animal world and its haunting themes. Once Upon a Girl, 1976. Once Upon a Girl is a 1976 adult animated film that takes classic fairy tales and turns them into lewd, risque parodies. The film presents a version of Mother Goose who is put on trial for telling obscene stories, during which she narrates three well-known fairy tales: Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, and Jack and the Beanstalk with adult twists. The animation sequences are filled with nudity, suggestive acts, and body humor. The film's over-the-top, explicit content led to an X rating, and it quickly became a scandalous hit in adult theaters. Upon release, it was condemned by critics for its tasteless humor and vulgarity, with many parents and educators appalled by the corruption of beloved childhood characters. The film was banned in many areas, and its reputation as a forbidden film led it to be an underground classic. It never had a legitimate wide release, becoming a rare collector's item that only gained notoriety through bootlegs and internet mentions. Animal Farm, 1954. Animal Farm is a British animated film based on George Orwell's famous novella, which allegorically critiques Soviet communism through the story of farm animals overthrowing their human oppressors. The film depicts how the revolution led by the animals quickly becomes corrupted, with one pig, Napoleon, rising to power and establishing a totalitarian regime. The film, funded partly by the CIA, was intended to be a warning against the dangers of totalitarianism. Upon its release, the film was banned in communist countries, including the Soviet Union, where it was considered anti-Soviet propaganda. During the Cold War, Animal Farm was seen as a direct attack on Stalinist Russia. The film was censored in countries with close ties to the USSR, and in Eastern Europe, it was completely suppressed. Despite these challenges, the film found an audience in the West and was used as an educational tool to teach about the dangers of dictatorship and the corrupting influence of power. Today, it is considered a classic political animation. These 11 animated films from the 1970s prove that animation was never just for kids. Controversial, bold, and ahead of their time, they left a lasting impact on cinema. Which one shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments.